We are back on gaming. I want to say this right now, people, okay? Before we get started, I saw a lot of people in the comments last video very concerned about my eyes. They're fine. They're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. Like I said, it was a freak thing. I just need a little bit of rest. I'm good. That's why I took the week off. So I'm good. Don't even worry about it. It's not a big deal. We are back, okay? So, but I want to thank y'all for, for your concern. Today, the things I've seen over the previous week or so have kind of disgusted me. Of course, I'm going to show you all the positives as well, because I'm not going to end this video on something negative. Like, that's just ridiculous. But the things that we've seen as of late, and especially when it comes to Gamergate, and I say this because since the new year, I mean exactly on the dot, Happy New Year, January 1st, Anti-Gamergate started up. What did I tell y'all in the last video? If people really wanted to change, they change right away. I'm not trying to hear, this is our time for New Year to strike, blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to hear that, man. All you're doing is causing more hate. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, as of late, what we've seen over the shooting that happened over in the Paris tragedy that we saw not too long ago. Now, Anti-Gamergate is trying to connect us gamers to that. That's right. So now they're going to add us Gamergate in the hashtag in the Paris tragedy as well. So check out what this guy has to say. This clown said that we are a few months, even though this has been going on for months, and for me, I've been talking about this for years, but we're a few months and weapons away from this. Who has weapons? Who has brandished weapons to talk about Gamergate or anti-Gamergate? Where have you seen this? Because I haven't seen it. So for this person to come out and say that, it's absolutely ridiculous that you would say something. Oh, the writers for hatred is real. No, it's about balanced coverage, fair, balanced ethics. That's what it's about. Why is this turning into, oh, well, it's only a few months away before someone gets killed? You notice when Vice tried to do that, they pulled their article? And I showed you the screenshot of that. There is a reason. Oh, it's only a matter of time for somebody gets killed. Who has been killed? Who has been physically assaulted over this? I haven't seen it. And yet you people jump the shark every time. Oh, well, someone's going to get killed, or it's only a couple of weapons away. Haven't seen it. You keep talking about it, haven't seen it. You're a bunch of drama queens. That's what you are. You're trying to create hysteria. And you know what? It's not just anti-Gamergate, because Gamergate themselves did it as well. I said this once, and I will say it again. I do not give a damn what side of the fence you are on in this conversation, this debate, this argument, whatever you want to call it, this stance. But you do not use a tragedy to push your platform. You do not. Both sides are wrong in this situation. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, that's just one person from one side and another person from our side. Gamergate's going to say, that's not how we think. I know that. Just like Anti-Gamergate will say, well, that's not how all we think. I know that. But here's the thing. When other gamers came along that said that they were Gamergate and harassed you, you said it was all of us. And a lot of us said that's not how it is, and that we don't condone that. And you said, yes, it is. This is how you act. So if you're going to throw that label on us, you got to take advantage, you got to take care of that dude. You've got to be kidding me. And like I said, we've seen this before. Nita Sarkeesian did it herself. Did we not see that? Zoe Quinn did it. All right. Brianna Wu did it. Speaking of, I'm going to get to Brianna Wu in a minute. Brianna Wu did it and tried to say, oh, well, this is why I'm so scared, and tried to label another tragedy. We've seen this way too many times. You are using people who have died in tragedies and those families who have suffered so that you can focus on yourself. Look at me, pay to my Patreon. We'll talk about that in a minute, okay? Because as far as I'm concerned, everything that we have seen when it comes to Gamergate or anti-Gamergate, hey, Gamergaters aren't the ones using block lists, okay? If this was about equality, you would not be blocking minorities. You would not be telling us minorities that we don't exist in gaming if this is about equality. If this is about getting everyone together and being community, You would be trying to bridge the gap instead of saying, hey, look, I'm going to make an algorithm that blocks all these people even though they've never talked to us. That's what you're doing. And speaking of that algorithm, just for those who don't know, the girl who made that algorithm, yeah, she just lost her job this week. And all of a sudden, she's opening up a Patreon, and this is what she said. She said that now that I lost my job, I can become a full-time activist. So donate to my Patreon. First off, let's get something straight, chick. Alright? You do not become a full-time activist. Full-time activism is not a full-time job. It is not a 9 to 5. It is a way of life to fight for society for the better. Not for you to get paid off of. That's what you call spoiled. That's what you call entitled. Yet you have the nerve to say that us men are the ones that are entitled in this entire thing. Like I said, I'm still waiting for one of you to tell me about my black, male privilege. I'm still waiting for it. And you still can't answer it. But, speaking of Brianna Wu, because like I said, this is about equality, right? Because, for those who don't know, Brianna Wu jumped all over a specific developer team because it was all male. And I find that pretty hypocritical, because this is Brianna Wu's, developer team on her side. And all of that hypocrisy aside, alright? Let's just put that aside for a minute. We saw a number of gamers get ready to go to work and start pushing charities. The Extra Life charities getting ready to start back up soon. I believe it started, I believe it's the end of the month, I believe. We've seen not too long ago the Speed Run. I will talk about that later. And then we also saw just a number of charities that gamers were saying, hey, look, it's a fresh start to a new year. Let's get to it. Let's, knuckle down, get to work. Total Biscuit decided that he was going to promote said charity, alright? He was going to promote a charity, to get everyone else involved, because that's what it's about, community. And then Anti-Gamergate came along once again and called him the most heinous things, and this is what I mean about the racism in the community. And see, this is why we are still stuck where we're at today. Now, the story goes that the people who was running the Able Gamers charity, they actually asked Total Biscuit for a retweet. And Total Biscuit said, yeah, it's for charity, I'll retweet it. And then his followers went over there to watch. Now, apparently something happened over there where there was just too much traffic, and their mods couldn't handle all the traffic, and they were saying that there was a lot of harassment going on. And they specifically made it known that a lot of these people are on the block list, which should tell you something. But then they blame Total Biscuit for all this, saying, oh, you sent them on over here to harass us and destroy our charity. And it's like, wait a minute. You asked him to retweet it. You asked him. And now you want to blame him for what's going on. We don't want your type of followers. Well, what the hell did you think was going to happen if you asked him to retweet it? His followers were going to see it. And then they tried to say it was weaponized charity. Stop. Just take some responsibility. You asked for it, you got what you wanted, and then you couldn't handle it, so then you start pointing fingers. Look, if you're going to run a charity, and you're going to ask people like Total Biscuit to push, said charity, and we've always said this always about big YouTubers. Big YouTubers, they have so many fanatics. I shouldn't even go that far. Maniacs. Because they will go and say anything and shitpost as much as they want. And it's like, if you can't handle that, then really you shouldn't ask them for it. But it did promote your charity. I don't understand how you can get mad at him for doing something that you asked. It's not like he led the charge and was like, hey, there goes a charity, let's go take it down. It's not what he did. He simply hit a button and retweeted upon request. I will put the links in the info bar, okay? Just to let you know that. I will. Now, I do want to move on to actual news. I want to start with EA. They're bullshit. That's right. Retired football players are now allowed to advance in lawsuits over EA's Madden NFL. Now, we just saw this not too long ago with EA and the NCAA and their problems. And what happened? EA cut out the NCAA. So, we know they're not going to get rid of Madden. They can't get rid of Madden. They can't afford to get rid of Madden because that's still their top seller. So EA is in trouble right now when it comes to lawsuits, and I just find it interesting that this is the route that EA has to keep going. You should know by now, EA, when it comes to all these licenses, especially when it comes to older players that are retired, you got to make sure those rights and everything is just straight. Because if not, you're gonna have some problems. And with all these problems that you're still having, you still have a problem pushing out these games, do you? Because they still generate so much cash, which I don't understand personally, why people would still go out and buy Madden year after year after year when it's the same thing. It is. You can skip a number of years and still not miss a beat with Madden. But that's what Madden Knights do. Anyways, I want to move on. Last time we talked about hackers and things of that nature. We saw what happened over the holidays. Hackers leak Xbox One SDK claiming advancement in Openness and Homebrew. So pretty much just giving out the keys to everyone and saying, hey, if you want to hack down the Xbox Live or DDoS the Xbox Live, here it is. There you go. So, people who pay for Xbox Live, I'm just letting you know, in the future, this may happen again. Okay? Also, Microsoft puts together a new team to punish the boundaries of the Kinect. But here's the problem with that. While they're putting together a new team for the boundaries of Kinect, the Xbox Live founder leaves Microsoft after 18 years. And we knew that last time. So, here we go again. We're still waiting to see what these replacements are going to happen. However, here's something that really bothers me. Because I remember one cam whore came on and talked about Evolve. And I believe that I destroyed her not too long ago. And a couple months ago, a couple videos about when she didn't know what the hell she was talking about. And for some reason, people keep, seeing what she has to say. Because she doesn't know anything about video games. But, she talked about Evolve. And how it's going to be the greatest multiplayer game that we've ever seen on the face of this planet. That Evolve is just going to be the second coming. That Evolve is going to evolve multiplayer, right? Here's something you probably didn't know about Evolve. Evolve lets Xbox players skip grinding with $60 pre-purchase. That's right. So now you don't even have to grind anymore. You don't even have to play through the game. You don't have to do the things that it takes to be a gamer, to be in this game. Just take away all the grinding. Take away all the fights. As long as you pay a specific price, you can get what you want, instant gratification. What's the point of the game? What's the point? The whole point of grinding and progression is to see yourself get stronger, get better, acquire more skills, get more experience when it comes to skill, just gameplay-wise. And you're telling me you don't even have to do that anymore? I can just plunk down $60 as a pre-order and boom, no more grinding. What the hell has happened to our generation? If these people could not handle grinding now, you would have not been able to survive the JRPG era. Ever. That is absolutely ridiculous. Microsoft, look, this has to stop. You cannot sit here and say that you're going to just, if you pay X amount of dollars, you don't have to grind. We just saw it not too long ago in World of Warcraft. Now you don't even have to grind for that. They just give it, you start at a level 100 or something like that. If you pay for, something like that. They're taking away the entire point of you staying on the game. It's killing the longevity. And I'm not trying to hear, oh, well, it's going to be a big world, and it's going to be enough boards. Yeah, right. Until people get tired of it, and then you got to come out with an expansion or a part 2. Hello, Destiny. This is the things that we're seeing right now. Take away grinding. You got to be kidding me. That is the entire point. When you level up, when you leveled up, every time you leveled up, you were like, yeah, I leveled up. Now you're just taking that excitement away from gamers. You are. But you know what? Let's move on. In more Xbox news, Forza Horizon 2 DLC is causing crashes. That's right. And Microsoft now is trying to come up with a quick fix for it. So you can't even get your DLC straight, huh? That's causing crashes. Maybe if you worked on the game before deciding we're going to keep DLC aside and we're going to work on DLC later, less bugs. You can't even get that right. Day 1 patches for bugs. Now you got patches for DLC. Oh my God. I don't get it. let's just keep going. Let's keep going, all right? Now, knowing I'm talking about all these problems with development and things of that nature, developers have come out and said that they feel like, and this is what it says, developers feel like shit when they deliver games in poor state. And it says Dying Light is looking to push all platforms. Now look, developers, us gamers know how hard you work. We know that you have a time limit, a constraint. We've seen developers lose their jobs because of, not performing well enough or fast enough. We've seen developers lose their families because they've devoted so much time away from home to develop said game. We've seen these things. I know we turn around and we say, lazy developers, we see all these things. But really, you have to start looking at your publishers. And developers, I'm wondering when you're going to get a union. I'm still waiting for this union to happen. Because you should know by now, when developers are running you into the ground like dogs, something's got to be done. You need longer time periods. You need better breaks. Don't sit here and tell me you're just huddled over a computer like this and doing as fast as possible because you have a deadline to meet. Only for it to be game-breaking bugs and game-glitching bugs and save corruptions and things of that nature. And not too long ago, we saw a CEO say, yeah, we knew it was going to happen, but we still had to get the product out because of this time frame. I've said before, publishers, stop giving your PR guys all this money to plug, because you spend millions of dollars in plugging games. It's going to be the second coming. You need to have this. I can't tell you how many times, and we've seen it time and time again, the Assassin's Creed commercials, the Battlefield commercials, the Modern Warfare commercials. Oh, let's throw Eminem music in the background so it makes it hype. We've seen this. Ask David Cage how long it took him to get Heavy Rain any type of promotion, because advertisers didn't know how to promote it, because it wasn't as easy as guns and explosions. Ask him, go ahead. I guarantee you he'll sit and talk about it. He's talked about it in articles. I guarantee you if you go reach out to him on his Twitter, he'll say the same thing. They're not having enough time to deal with what they need to do. And you know what? Speaking of David Cage, I know you moved on to Beyond Two Souls, but Sony, you should be ashamed of yourself for stopping them from finishing that Heavy Rain DLC. You should be. That taxidermist, or which we call the taxi driver, wasn't enough. Everyone should have had one. We know that. Time constraints, though. Publishers are not giving you enough time. And if the publishers say, well, it's not our fault, it's the shareholders. Well, look, somebody got to take responsibility. And it has to start from the top up. I just don't understand why developers, I understand you have a tough time schedule, but these are products that we are paying for, quality products we are paying for. So when we jump on you, I understand you may feel it's unfair that we jumped on you, but it's justified we jump on you. And then when you look at the time constraint, it's justified that we jump on the publishers for putting out said time constraint. And then if that's the case, then it's justified that we jumped on the shareholders who tell the publishers, look, it needs to be out here because we want Call of Duty numbers every time. What type of game are you making? We're making a puzzle game. Well, we want Call of Duty numbers on a puzzle game. Like, you can't do that. The industry literally is fucked up right now. And it's sad to hear that publishers, I mean, I'm happy to see the publishers are finally coming out and saying this, and saying they feel like shit. But there's also, we've seen, I'm sorry, not publishers, developers, but we also have seen developers who really don't care. So you can't feel bad for all of them. We've seen developers say, hey, you don't like it, you can kiss our ass. There's nothing wrong with the game. Look how many times, look what's going on with Aliens Colonial Marines. They still pointing fingers over that one. Sega like it's not our fault. Gearbox is like, no, it's not our fault. Even though you outsourced the game. Don't get me started on it. Seriously, don't get, there's too much information that can be thrown into just that topic alone. Let's keep going. Capcom, speaking of publishers and in-house bad development, yeah. And just bad decisions altogether. It's a real goofy company at this point. Capcom is dropping their sales forecast ahead of the year-end results. Yeah, because they're not making anything. Capcom, I've done a video before, and you guys came to me on Twitter yesterday about it, and was like, they're still not listening to your event, they still didn't see your video. Yeah, because my How to Fix Capcom fell on deaf ears. It happens. I could do one on EA. They wouldn't listen. How many years ago did I try to help EA? And I talked to their community manager. They didn't listen. I went to Twitter and talked to Peter Moore about, like I said, about Fight Night and UFC, being pushed to go, into the FGC. Didn't listen. If these companies are about making money, why aren't you taking the opportunities that are there? That still would make gamers happy. That still would keep the gap, actually bridged. I would say that. It just seems like they don't give a shit. You can't tell them anything. They got the power suits on with their little power ties. They think that it gives them some type of relevancy. You have to understand, without us consumers, your companies fall. And when one company falls, another one will rise. But it doesn't matter, right? Capcom, get it together. And they're teasing that there's going to be another game come January. They're going to tease another game, and I don't care. And I'll tell you why I don't care. Because for those who don't know, Capcom has licensed Mega Man. I know, Mega Man. A Mega Man runner over in Korea for the Android. People. Capcom, why can't you just give us what we want? Give us Mega Man. The Mighty Number 9, for what we've seen over the past 2 weeks, a lot of people are trashing it. A lot. They're saying it's not going to be worth anything. People have done YouTube videos on it. They've broken this down, and they're not very happy with the Mighty Number 9. Capcom. Mega Man Legends 3. That's all you have to do. One game. One game. And you will satisfy the entire, and I mean the entire fan base, with that one game, if you do it well. Stop dicking around. Stop making Android games, Capcom. I do not care. I guarantee you, if this is on the 3DS, it would do well though. But because it's on Android, people are like, eh. Because people still don't agree that the iOS or the Android can compete with said consoles or PC. And I know people like to talk specs and things of that nature, but the fact is, we want our games on our consoles and PCs. Capcom, stop playing around. You're ducking Mega Man as much as Square is ducking Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's what you're doing. Anyways, speaking of more Capcom, Resident Evil HD Remake is now available for preload. Preload! You've got to be... Capcom, preload! Stop. Just stop. This is just... I'm so done with this. I am. Because it's like, whoever's in charge, they say, hey, look, here's logic. We're just going to go all the way that way. We're just going to go that way, and we're not going to look back. It makes no sense what Capcom does. And then people still want to champion Capcom. You can't. You can't. And I tell you why. Look, Capcom, once again, Ultra Street Fighter 4 is being detailed and revealed for the PS4. So Capcom, what is the point of Street Fighter 5? Matter of fact, Capcom is saying that they're looking at Street Fighter 5 fan requests. Why? Why? If Street Fighter 4 is coming to the PS4, which is just another cash grab, and buying you time to make Street Fighter 5, which we already said looks like Street Fighter 4 anyway, oh my God, Capcom. You know what? Let's just move on to the fighting game community, please. Let's just do this. For those who don't know, PR Balrog is to retire. He's going to retire, that's right. But we'll go out with a bang at Evo and Capcom Cup. So for PR Balrog fans, wish him his luck, good luck. Like I said, I told you guys before, this fighting game community thing, when you compete at a high level for so long, even at a low level, it doesn't matter. Eventually, life takes over. Eventually, you move on. That's what happens. So, PR Balrog, go ahead and do what you gotta do, man. I put it like this, if he's gonna go out with a bang, I'm sure he is gearing up for his highest fighting level ever, and he's looking to take him. I put it like this, if that's your stance, if that's, your last stand, those two places your last stand, yeah, you're gonna make them count. That's how it is. You go down swinging. So, there you have it also. And we'll talk about Tekken. New Tekken character has been announced for Tekken 7 named Shaheen, who hails from Saudi Arabia. And then fans complain about it. That's right. Now, we just saw this not too long ago with Lucky Chloe. And now fans are complaining about this character and saying, we don't need them in the game. But then, at this point, Harada got pissed off. And this is what Harada said. And here we go again. I'm happy that Harada took this stance. Because that person clearly doesn't represent all of us. See, this is what I'm talking about. Please take him out the game. Please take her out the game. How about shut up? Whatever happened to character select? If you don't like the person, then don't play as the person. Why is this a big deal? Seriously. Let that character stay in the game. That's right. That person doesn't represent all of us. No one else is having a problem with this other than a couple people who just decide they just want to keep doing this now. Is this going to be the trend now? When you don't like something you see, to take out the game. Take out the game. Is that what you're going to do? Unreal. And this is the same fighting game community that has no problems with people being harassed in their own community. You have no problems when someone says something about your game or your Hadoukens and you jump all over them, call them a bunch of names. But as soon as you see a character that you don't like, oh, take out the game. That's what you do. It is becoming way too damn soft. It really is. Like I said, if you don't like the character, don't play as the character. There will be a number of characters you can pick from the character select screen. I am really getting sick and tired of this. But let's move on. In good news, J-Star's Victory Versus is heading to North America. That's right, it's heading to us, and I will put the link in the info bar. GameStop already has as a pre-order, I believe. So I will put that in the info bar for you. So for those who are hyped, for Goku versus Naruto or whatever, you're getting ready to get it here. Just to let you know, okay? Also, Touhou Super Smash Battles has reached goal. Now, for those who do not know what this was a fan-made game that pretty much took the aspect of Smash, and they, of course, put their own thing into it, put their own spin into it, and it actually looked really well for what they're working with right now. For those who have not seen what this looks like, let's look at a little bit of the gameplay. For what it looks like for right now. I would like to see the ending result and see how it ends out, but it looks promising. We'll see what happens in the future. I'll keep an eye on it. I also want to talk more about Smash because for those who don't know, Nintendo is sponsoring Smash at Apex. Now here's the thing. For what you guys and girls have been telling me on Twitter, a lot of elitists are pissed off at this. Why? Why are you so mad? Because for what everyone's telling me, people are pissed off, but I haven't heard any reasons. If this is true, if you were pissed off, why would you be mad at a company sponsoring their own product? That's a good thing. You want Nintendo to take notice of what's going on with Smash. They're being attentive. I do not see the problem with Nintendo coming through with Smash. What's the matter? You're not going to be able to use, special controllers? Is that it? What's the problem? Are there going to be any exclusions? I mean, seriously, we need to know these things. I need to know why people are so upset. So anyone who's watching this video, if you know more information than I do, then please leave it in the comment section, please, because I always read the comment section. Let me know what's going on. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is a good thing. We saw what Nintendo did at, at E3. And they put on a hell of a tournament. And I know a lot of people said, well, there was a lot of people who weren't invited in that tournament. I understand that. I see why people were upset about that part. But overall, the tournament was a success, and it was great. And I guarantee you, it brought a lot more people to the game and said, look, we're going to get Smash when it comes out. And as we already know the numbers for Smash, what's going on. So for Nintendo to push this, and I put it like this is a success. Because remember, when Mario Kart 8 came out, Nintendo did very minimal to promote it at other places, at venues, to make it a competitive racing game. Very minimal. And I was very saddened to see that, because Mario Kart 8 is a good game. And good games should be promoted by their companies. You should be having tournaments for these type of things. And yet, they didn't really. So it's kind of sad. Unless the local GameStop had one or whatever. Like, no. You need to have Nintendo come out to a big venue and say, hey, look, this is what we're going to do. Places like GameStop and what they had at Otakon and stuff like that, that's not enough. You need to have venues, big venues where you can say, hey, look, we can do this on Mario Kart 8. And it seems like that's not what happened. So be happy that Nintendo is, going all out and saying, hey, Smash, we're going to give you our official seal of approval. We're going to back you 100%. That is a good thing to see so far. Like I said, that's what I know so far. If there's any more details or anything different that someone else knows, by all means, please let me know. Okay? Now, I want to move on and talk about some idiot. And I say idiot due to the fact that they say that video games should be in the Olympics. Game developer says this. Stop. Alright? We already know that they don't even consider it a sport. And we know that esports just not too long ago, we've seen the numbers. They outdo the World Series, they outdo the NBA Finals. We see these numbers. Alright? But even ESPN, who has a deal with MLG and things of that nature, they don't even consider it sports. And you want it to be in the Olympics? I'll put it like this. I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate here for a minute, okay? If you put video games with X Games, and X Games has become an Olympic sport, then by connection, that degree of separation, video games should be an Olympic sport. So, that's the only way I can play devil's advocate on this. Other than that, it shouldn't be a damn Olympic sport. And y'all know this. Like I said, I'm trying to hit both sides of the argument, just to show you that I'm not being severely biased on it, okay? Because you already know how I feel about esports compared to regular sports, and gamers don't know how to act. Like I said, if you can't even get down to behavior as an athlete, as a professional, then why should you have to grace that stage with said other athletes? That's simple, all right? And when they say esports, you know what they mean. Call of Duty, possibly Dota, possibly League of Legends. They're not going to come around and say, well, we're going to give you Street Fighter for an Olympic sport. We're going to give you Catherine as an Olympic sport. You know what I mean? They're not going to give you games that actually are, that actually make you think on the fly. No, Camp of Duty, stuff like that. It's whatever's going to be popular at the time. Just Dance, because as you know, Just Dance is an e-sport now too. We covered that a couple months ago. Ubisoft trying their hardest. It goes to show you, once again, I said about this in sports videos, once again, the people who have the money can make the power. They will make it happen if they throw enough money, if they lobby enough people. I'm just letting you know that now. Okay? I want to move on. Alright? Nintendo. Mario Brothers. For those who don't know, Mario Brothers coin-op high score world record has been smashed. It's been smashed. Congratulations. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. You know what? It just makes me want to play Mario even harder. That's all it does. You know what I mean? Same thing with Pac-Man. And I've already talked about my gripes with Pac-Man. I may just have to do a standalone video on Pac-Man for that. Because I've talked about on stream with other people how I felt about Pac-Man and how the world record is a joke. Billy Mitchell is a joke when it comes to Pac-Man. Because the way he plays it, it's so robotic. There's a formula to how he plays. If anyone's ever seen him play Pac-Man, he knows exactly where to go, where the ghosts are going to go, things of that nature. He doesn't play off of reaction. He doesn't play off of emotion. He plays because he knows how it's going to happen. So he didn't actually play Pac-Man. he systematically broke Pac-Man and got a plaque for it. And, like I said, I could do a video just blasting him for that. So, for Pac-Man players like myself who play off of emotion and just play off of reflex, it makes it, like I said, it takes the fun out of the game. And that's what he did. Now, I do want to move on about taking fun out of games, because we got to talk about other idiots. For those who don't know, Man's Hate spends $4,000 on Rosalina and Luna amiibos, with another $35,000 in the bank, just as a backup, alright? On Zero Suit Samus, Lucina, Robin, and Robin, so fans can't get a hold of them. This guy is buying amiibos in bulk so that you can't get any. And this is what he says. This is his quote. Okay, I want to talk about this. It says, "I do not appreciate Rosalina appearing in almost every recent Mario game to date. The fact Nintendo promotes her so much and people praise her is just disgusting." Okay? It says, "I hate her fans, too. It says, I know for a fact her amiibo will be among one of the most popular, which is why I took the time to wait and pre-order over 100 of her. I do not want her fans to be happy. It crushes me Nintendo from the good days went to this shit," and it says, "to this shit for character designs." And that's what it says. Now, apparently, I'm going to have to read this fool the riot act. First off, who in the hell spends $4,000 with $35,000 in the bank, alright, because apparently you have money to spend like that just to blow, on things that you hate? Who does that? Also, it's a character. It's not real. You understand that, right? People are allowed to be fans of whatever character. I hate Steve from that damn RPG game, but guess what? There's going to be somebody who likes Steve as well. It doesn't mean I'm going to say, I'm going to take away all Steve so that nobody can have him. You know how many characters that people hate in video games, but they never go this far to say, hey, look, I'm going to spend my money so that they can't have them. You understand the people who get the last laugh out of this is Nintendo. You understand that, right? There's already talks about Little Mac being discontinued here in North America. What did I tell you before? Nintendo was going to discontinue certain amiibos to cause hysteria so that you people would run out and buy them. And it's working. You're falling for it. This is history repeating itself. For this immature little idiot, because that's what he is. That's not a man. That's not a man. That's not an adult. That is a child with too much money and too much time on their hands going around buying amiibos in bulk. And then you have other people who are buying these amiibos who do not give a damn about Smash. Alright? Or who are buying these amiibos and then gouging the prices up if you really wanted it. This is a problem. This is why Nintendo caused this problem. If they said, we're going to continue doing them, we don't need to discontinue them, guess what? No one would have went out and bought that stuff. And I guarantee you, spending $4,000 on characters with $35 in the bank, guess what? That's not going to stop the entire world from buying these characters. You understand that, right? There are ways around it. You don't have enough money to stop the shipment that Nintendo can come in with. All you did was make retailers and Nintendo happy. They sitting back laughing, counting money. This idiot actually went and did this. Ha 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 ha. While you got other fans like, I can't believe this guy's being a dick. Either way, no matter how you slice it, both sides are looking at you like you're an idiot. You should be ashamed of yourself. $4,000 on plastic. Characters. Fake characters. $35,000 returns who threaten to pick up other characters. That's not a threat. You understand that, right? I got this amount of money, I'll do this. That's not a threat, man. All they're going to do is make more. You understand it, right? Or, I'm sorry, they'll make limited editions, which will make you go out and buy some more, right? Yeah. That has to be the dumbest news I've heard today. Maybe today, okay? But there's still some bad news, all right? I want to get to this. I want to talk about F-Zero. For those who don't know, New F-Zero would not be developed unless it requires a redesigned control interface. And Miyamoto is saying this. You do not need a redesigned interface. Let's be honest here, alright? If you had success with Mario Kart, you can do it with F-Zero. It doesn't really need that much of a design interface, but they're not saying that they're not going to do it. It's just going to take some time to do. And you know fans want a new F-Zero. But right now they're focused on a new Star Fox. So one game at a time. So Nintendo fans, don't worry, you will get it, okay? But speaking of racing, and maybe this may be just as stupid as the guy buying the amiibos. I don't think it's as stupid, but it is pretty stupid, okay? Racing games may influence later behavior. The article goes on to say if you like racing games, that eventually in real life you're going to get into speeding, you're going to be able to talk on your cell phone, and you're going to be reckless while you're driving. You've got to be kidding me that you're trying to connect this to real life driving. This is what these people are saying. And here's the thing. The term may. That's what they say. Racing games may. If that's the case, if I drink and drive, I may get into an accident. If I go out and do drugs, heavy drugs, and overdose, I may die. That's what they're going on. May. You've got to be kidding me here. There is no proof that this happens. I play a lot of racing games. Does it mean I go out there and rip up the road? No. Do I get times where I feel like I want to throw a green shell at the oncoming car? Yes. But it doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's ridiculous that this type of stuff, it boggles my mind that they have so much stuff. And you know what? They always say stuff negative about video games. So now, let's get to the positive to shut these people up, okay? Because for everyone that says, well, racing games can, this can do this and it can cause harm and gamers are bad and all these things, they never look at the positives. For those who don't know, games done quick. That's right. For those who did not see their totals over what they did, they raised over $1.5 million in charity with their stream. All to prevent against cancer. I have to applaud you. No, I'm applaud you. Seriously, that is an amazing thing. But we have more positive news. That's right, for those who don't know. Bayonetta 2 has been named the most accessible game in 2014. Now, for those who don't know what that means, most accessible means they have so many ways that you can play the game that even people with disabilities have been able to pick up this game and play it with no problems. So let me get this straight, because, they didn't want to give Bayonetta 2 Game of the Year. No, remember, at their little awards, they went and gave Dragon Age Inquisition, which was out for like 2 weeks? That got Game of the Year. Bayonetta 2 did not get Game of the Year, but it got Most Accessible Game of the Year, meaning it hits more to a broader audience. Equality. That's what you always want to talk about, though, right? Equality, and then you go and do that. Bayonetta 2 is a lot better than what you think it is, than what people will give it credit for. But Most Accessible Game of the Year. That should be something to be proud of. Platinum, you did a great job. Matter of fact, you've been doing a great job for a number of games. A lot of people gave you flack when it came to Metal Gear Rising, and that rose to the occasion and proved everyone wrong. A lot of people gave you flack when the Wonderful 101 came out, and that rose to the occasion and proved people wrong. Now this. Every time you come out with a game, people keep denying what you can do, and all you do is shut them up with gameplay. And that's what this is about. Because we see too many people these days who want their Patreon, so-called developers, donate to my Patreon because I'm a victim, but you don't have anything to show for it. This is what you call old school gaming. This is what you call getting popular off of quality products. Not running and complaining and begging for money. And yet all these people who sit here and say, gamers are bad, you're a misogynist, you're all this, what are they doing? Last I checked, gamers are actually knuckling down and actually helping with charities. What are they doing? Other than saying, donate to me. Not helping anyone else, donate to me. That's what they're doing. That's what you call the real problem right now in gaming, in our community. Seriously, it just is. But here's some other news, and we talked about this last time. I remember I showed you a clip about last year. And last year was, a lot of you guys and girls said, in the video, oh, that looks good, that looks really good, but this is something I've been looking forward to. Well, now we have a new contender coming in. This time, it's actually a major hitter. For those who don't know, Friday the 13th is coming out with a new game. That's right. In 25 years, we have not seen one. Friday the 13th. And it's going to run the same formula, where you have to do co-op. And then there's one person who is a stalker. We will see who's going to play Jason Voorhees. We will see how this works out. So far, that is what's been announced. So far, that's all we know. Hopefully, we see some gameplay footage. I'm really hoping that last year and Friday the 13th do great, because we've been missing this type of genre for a very long time. I hope that both games are quality and become successful. I really do. Also, like I said, we have more news. That's right, more good news. League of Legends players. Now, this may be a little bittersweet for some people, but I think it's good news. Okay? League of Legends players with good behavior are getting free stuff in the game. With good behavior. Now look, here's the bittersweet part about it. You shouldn't have to be bad on the game. I put it like this. Being a good player and having good behavior, that's supposed to be normal. So what you're doing is, you're giving free gifts to normal people. Free gifts to players who are supposed to just do what they're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be normal. You're supposed to be kind to people. You're supposed to be good to the people in the community. It goes to show you how toxic that community really is. That's the bittersweet part of it. However, I still feel it's good news, because you know what? When you do good deeds, it deserves to be recognized. So as far as I'm concerned, I hope this sends a large message for what they're doing over there with League of Legends to every player who wants to act like a dick. I really hope it does. And I hope that the gifts that they're getting, I hope that they're really good gifts too. Something really strong. Because then people say, well, how did you get that? I say, well, because I was actually nice to people. Because I actually acted like a person towards another person. And then they say, oh, well, maybe it's time I act like another person. But then again, you never know. Somebody may just act nice until they get what they want and then go back to their ways. Maybe there needs to be some type of penalty where if people keep acting up, you cut them off. I mean, I really would have thought that would have been the way to go about it. People acting like dicks, get out of here. We don't need you in our community. But it seems like they don't want to do that. Like I said, it's still great, though, that we're seeing people doing positive things and finally getting acknowledged. However, the only thing that I would say right now that makes me upset is the fact that these type of things, and I said it last time, do not get enough publicity. They just don't. And it's always been like that. So for people to say that this is a new year and they're going to turn over a new leaf, and yet you still see these type of problems, it seems like they're just being a bunch of frauds. And I'm not saying that towards gamers. I'm saying that towards your media. I'm saying that towards your publishers. Clean it up. Because at the end of the day, money isn't about everything when it comes to this gaming community. It never has. As I'm speaking right now, I'm sure there is a guy who is programming at home by himself, programming an awesome game without any backing, without any begging for Patreon, without any Indiegogo, without any Kickstarter, and he's just putting in work. And his game's going to turn out, or she game is going to be awesome. Don't let these people tell you that you're bad. Especially for all the things that you've done last year and now starting this year. Keep gaming. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.